Hey guys, welcome to another video. So we are in the 2024 archery season here in Ohio. Things are just starting to heat up. We're in the last week of October. We've had some funky weather. We're actually having a warming spell right now where it's going to be in the 70s and 80s. Last week of October, crazy. But the last few days, the highs were in the 50s and 60s, lows down in the 30s, and it was feeling like your typical rut weather, right? Early rut, pre-rut type weather. Well, things started to heat up. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights from the beginning of the season up until now. And then you'll see what happened here in the last couple days. So take a look.
Hey, what's up, guys? So, opening day, Archery, Ohio. Been sitting here a couple hours now. It's actually raining right now. There was no rain in the forecast, but there's so much leaf cover up still that I'm not really feeling it. So we're approaching 9 a.m. I've seen possum. He ran by right here, and a lot of squirrels. There's quite a bit of hickory nuts falling and probably some acorns. And these squirrels are all over the place. Some blue jays, woodpeckers. So a lot of life in the woods today. No deer. I haven't seen any deer, so. And pretty thick right in here. You can see there's some big rocks. Lots of thickets kind of over this way. It gets hit by that sun, kind of where the creek comes through down there, so it's a little more open. But over here, there's trails that come up this way. There's a big ridge right here. It drops down to a flat over here. A lot of oaks over here. But those deer typically will come up either from this bottom and go around this point here to the flat, or they'll work around just over the edge of the ridge. And there's trails that come along, the top third of this ridge and around the point that way. So this is a natural funnel right here. There is like a very faint trail that comes up off the point this way. So the deer could potentially come in behind me or even right underneath me. But majority of the time they're moving this way. And it's possible they can come this way, but my entrance, I came in from the back here. Typically they don't move along the very top of the ridge, but they could possibly do that. Alright guys, I'm gonna pack it in. I got the stands right up there. And then I got this mock scrape I created. Here's the licking branch. Same one I used last year. So I went ahead and freshened her up. So I'm going to back out, head out, circle out of here. But you can see the historical rubs in here, right? One there, one there. And this is a trail. This is a main trail right here. But there's rubs going all through there. Old rubs. I haven't seen anything fresh. They like to come right up out of this bowl that drops down in there. There's a trail that comes up right here and it meets the main trail here, which goes straight around that way. So it's a pretty cool pinch point, but not a whole lot of activity. But this is a great spot if you want to sit like during the rut, try to catch something moving through like a big boy. But it gets to be pretty wide open too, so you got to be careful with that. So, all right, guys, just walking out and seeing my first rub of the season here. Look at this. He's got that rubbed up pretty good. Got that branch broke. Ground's all scraped up. This is almost waist height.
Alright guys, day 2, Ohio archery season. We're headed out for a afternoon, evening hunt here. and just wanted to tell you a little bit about it. Oh wow, I had some of these branches cut out. Anyway, so this is a very strategic hunt that I'm doing here today, and I want to tell you a little bit about it. So it's obviously early season. It's not even October yet, right? Second day of the season here in Ohio, and we have I just saw something out there in the field. I don't know what. Oh, it's turkeys. All right, I got good footage of that. That was wild. There, I mean, it looks like spring gobbler. It's like a hierarchy dominance thing going on out there. And this one gobbler's chasing the other one around, trying to get in front of him to fight him. But the other one doesn't want anything to do with him. It's pretty funny. So I got some good footage of that. That's cool. Anyway, so back to the deer hunt. So we have a, even though it's early in the season, we have some nice bucks already that live here locally, right? A lot of times on these couple my property and neighbor's property, the big boys really start to show up later in October into November. But there's one in particular. He's a big mature buck. He's a 9-point. I don't know what he would score. He would definitely be a great buck to shoot. He's mature, he's big wide rack. I think he's just a 9. There could be some junk on there I haven't seen yet, because I've just seen trail cam photos and videos of him. But I'm pretty sure I know where he beds. There's a point over here where this power line drops down into a deep valley, and I put a stand over there, and I've caught a lot of pictures and videos of him on my cam sneaking in right before daylight, headed towards this point. So I think he's bedding on that point. Now I couldn't hunt there yesterday because the wind was terrible. It was like a southeast wind, so your scent would have been blown right across the trail that he crosses. But we have a northeast wind tonight, and I have a feeling, because it's such a interesting wind, that he might actually come out that way where he typically goes in. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be close to where he beds, but I'll be able to get in the stand without getting busted. And because of the northeast wind, he'll most likely be on the leeward side of that point, which means he'd be kind of facing me, not quite facing me, but adjacent to me on this side of the point though. And so I have a feeling he would come out before it gets dark along that trail right in front of my stand, circle up to the field behind me, which is full of corn. It would be a perfect, in my mind, a perfect way for that big boy to come in. Whereas typically with southwest wind, I think what he does is he beds on the other side of that point, and he circles up on the opposite side up to the fields over here, and then probably works his way over to the corn or through some of the fields up here. And so I think that's what he's been doing. But because it's this unique northeast wind, I think sitting in that stand I set up would be a great call. It's perfect for any sort of north wind. So we're gonna sit there, northeast wind. Even if when the thermals drop, if there's a northeast wind and it pulls my scent this way, even if the scent starts to drop with the thermals, I'd have a shot before he gets over there. He might come in from behind me too, and that would work as well. So I think we have a good plan. It's a good strategic
idea, at least in my mind. We'll see if it works out. So we're gonna head on in. It's a little after 4. It gets dark. We could hunt till I think it's like 7:48 or something like that. So we got plenty of time. We're just gonna work our way in. It's hot, 75 degrees. But we're just gonna get in there quietly, get up in the stand, and see what happens. So let's do it, guys. Oh man, I got in here nice and quiet. It just started to rain as I was climbing the tree, which is nice, a little more cover for the sound, but I didn't make any noise. It's really humid. It's not so hot, but it's humid. I'm already drenched. I wanted to show you what we're working with here. So I'm sitting in these evergreens, right? Right down here, there's a bench. Goes back that way to a point. That point starts maybe 70 yards, and then it kind of drops into the valley. I'm pretty sure that buck's been bedding on that point. A lot of mornings I've caught him coming through here. I got a camera down there. He came through. I had a mock scrape going there, but it looks like it got tore down, or maybe it came down in a storm or something, but I don't see the branch. It might have got ripped down by a buck. Anyway, he would come in, hit that scrape right before daylight, and head that way. So I feel like he's been bedding on that point. So I'm hoping, because of the northeast wind, which is kind of blowing this way, that he'll use that, he'll get up and come in like this, or he could come in like this, and I got shots behind me right here. So I don't know. I think it's a good strategy. So we're gonna see what happens. Feels good to be in the stand, even though I'm sweating. But all right, let's finish getting set up here. Probably can't see it on the GoPro, but there's a big deer out in the field. It's actually coming right towards me. Oh, there they go. Oh, that's a nice buck right there. They just took off running. Looked like one of them was a good buck. It's a good possibility it was multiple bucks. I don't know if you saw it on the camera. I cannot see this deer that's blowing at me. It's pretty far away. I can't see it, but it's got to be 70 yards. And I'm a bit perplexed because the wind and the thermals are in my favor. The wind's blowing from that direction this way, and the thermals are rising. So I don't know how this deer could scent me. I don't know. The only thing I can think of is first thing in the morning, the thermals would have been dropping a little. It's possible my scent dropped a little bit, pulled up down there, but I mean, that was hours ago, and the wind's blowing this way, so I'm not really sure. You could see how fast that thermal's pulling, plus the wind's blowing with that thermal. I just can't believe it. That deer would have scented me. Hey guys. So this is sit number 4 of the 2024 archery season. We're to the second week of October. It's a bit of a shit show this morning. My camcorder is laying at the base of the tree because I dropped it. It was dark still. I didn't have any lights on, and I'm trying to get the camcorder snapped onto the camera arm, and I just fumbled it and down it went. So if I get any action, if I get a shooter, they're probably not going to see me shoot it. I'll get the GoPro going, but if any other deer come through, I'll just have to use my phone. So, sun's just coming up. See what happens. What is it, spring gobbler? Did you hear that gobbler go off? That was pretty wild. It's right after that crow went off. Turkeys out here always gobbling in the fall. It's funny. Well, it's been an interesting morning to say the least. Heard those turkeys gobbling. That was pretty cool. I don't know if the camera picked it up, but there was definitely a gobbler close by over this way. He gobbled a few times. And then even after he flew down, he gobbled a few more times further away. So that was kind of cool. I heard some wood ducks. Definitely a lot of squirrels scampering around. There's some acorns falling, hickory nuts. Well, dropped my camcorder, and I'll show it to you. So I was trying to get it hooked on here. It was still dark, and I just fumbled it around and it fell down there. It's pretty far. I mean, we're sitting probably 23, 24 feet. It's a high stand, so hopefully it's not broken. All right, I got down and retrieved my camcorder, but it still works. It's a little banged up, but it still works. We'll take it. So, all right, see you on the next one. Little Cessna flying over. It's mid-October. I'm headed out for sit number 5, I believe it is. I've been trying to take it easy, not to get too crazy early in the season. I haven't sat at any of my good stands, my best stands yet. I have hopped around. I haven't sat in any stands more than once. You know, I've only been out 4 times. This will be my 5th time, and I'm heading out for a public land sit. I got the kayak with me. I've never archery hunted this particular public land here in Ohio. I'm really excited to try it out. I did some e-scouting and found some spots that are remote that would be easy to get to by kayak, but not on foot. And so I'm kind of targeting potential bedding areas and trying to set up in a corridor between the bedding and where I would expect a mature buck to get up from bedding and move in to feed in daylight before it gets dark. So I'm excited. So we're almost down to the waterway here. We'll get all geared up and get out for probably about two and a half hours, 2 hours. Leaves are changing. It's looking beautiful. I love it. Things are going to really start heating up. So let's see what we can get into this evening. All right. We got to paddle about 300 to 400 yards. So we're going to be using the saddle tonight. Like I said, I've never hunted this public land. There's nobody here, at least at the boat launch. Be a good day to do some fishing, but I don't see anybody, so we'll get over to the general area. I wanted to pull off, and then we'll get geared up and get up in the woods. All right, guys, so I'm hiking in. I wasn't able to pull into the spot that I picked out on the map. The terrain is, it got a decent slope to it. It's not super steep, but right at the water's edge, it gets really steep. So I came into this cove. You can see my kayak covered down there. And so I'm probably a good 200 yards from where I want to be, but that's okay. We're going to figure it out. So we're just going to creep in nice and quiet now. Alright, so right away, I'm noticing a lot of oak trees in here. There's a lot of big mature oaks, and then a lot of young ones shooting up here. And I'm seeing some hefty deer trails. You know, we got the water behind us here. Kind of creates pinch points. I'm seeing some acorns on the ground for sure. Hearing a lot of squirrels and chipmunks scattering around, so I mean, I'm seeing all sorts of acorns here. So that's a good sign. They could be feeding pretty heavy right now on these acorns that are dropping. So we're about halfway to where I wanted to get. There's a natural funnel created by a change in terrain, and it's within 100 yards of what I would consider some potential big buck bedding. So we're just gonna keep creeping here. I'm seeing some old rubs. I haven't seen any fresh rubs or scrapes, but that's all right. We're in a nice remote spot that it wouldn't be easy for people to get in here unless they did what I did. So let's keep going. Alright, I'm running in some deer beds here. It looks like some probably doe family group. I see 3-4 beds right in here. See this one here. There's one there. One here. I thought I saw one over there. Good stuff. Alright, let's keep going. Here's another bed. Got some droppings here. Look like maybe from this morning. They're not super fresh, but not super old. Alright, we're definitely getting close to where I wanted to pick out a spot. You can't tell from here, but in that direction, there's a big area. It looks like it was maybe clear cut or something a few years ago. And there's a point up here where that corner of that spot gets close to this ridge. I was going to set up there with the funnel. We got a northeast wind coming this way, going towards the water. So we'll stay on this side of the funnel once we get to it and set up. Looks like we have a little scrape right here. Probably hitting this branch right above it. Okay, so we're in the vicinity I wanted to get, and it's looking good. I'm really liking the way this looks. I'm just trying to pick a tree, determine what this buck would do. I'm saying this buck as if I know, but I just feel it, baby. I feel there's a point way out here, and it's a big point. And man, if I was a mature buck, that would be a good spot to bed. And I'm just trying to be quiet. And I have a feeling, because of the northeast wind, I have a feeling he'd get off the point. He could circle with the wind, a crosswind, and then he could circle up, and the corner of that clear cut slash field slash whatever the hell is right up here. So this would kind of be your pinch point here. There's a little bit of a dip right there. I'm thinking we get close to that dip and we might be able to catch something making that move. So does this sound like a good plan to you? Let's find out. You know, that scrape right there, that was a good sign. It was the Just a little scrape, nothing major, but it's the first scrape I've seen this season so far. So my wind's going to be blowing that way. There's a little gully right here, which is interesting. Let's take a look at that. I don't want to go too much further past this, but this little gully, this ditch, that's key because that's what creates a nice funnel. And these leaves sound so loud. Yeah, there's a little ditch right here. That would create the funnel right up in here. So I think we need to get about 15 more yards, 20 more yards, and just get a tree picked out. And then our scent, we want our scent to blow that way, so. All right, I'll let you know when I find a tree. All right, guys. We're all set up here. So the lake's down here. There's a little ditch right here that goes down to the lake. It's a pretty steep drop to the lake. Then we got this flat top. Lots of oaks, hickories, maples up here, a lot of hardwoods. But it's not super wide open. You could see, like, once you get out to about 40, 50 yards, it gets really thick. You just can't see further than that, but we got plenty of 20, maybe 30-yard shots right here. The wind is blowing that way, plus our thermals will get pulled that way. I'm expecting deer to come this direction, maybe even J-hook in like this. We got a mock scrape right there. And then over here, you can kind of see some daylight. There's an old, I don't know how old it is, but I believe there was a section clear cut out or an old field that's overgrown. I'm not quite sure which one, but it's kind of thick up in there. So you got this little pinch point here between this gully and the lake and the corner of this, let's call it a thick field or whatever. And so I'm right in here on what I would consider the funnel. So that's what we're expecting here. We got about an hour and a half of daylight left. It's in the upper 60s, so as the sun goes down, I would expect the deer to start getting up and moving, you know, the last hour or so. We're looking for a big buck. That's all we're shooting today, so we'll see if we can get on it. There's a deer down there. I can't see it because it's too dark. I was just getting ready to climb down. You could hear it down there. Here it comes. I have a feeling it was a buck, single deer. All right, guys, it's Friday, October 25th. Leaves are changing. Beautiful, beautiful foliage. Anyway, things are going to start heating up. The rut's going to start kicking in. I had one more fixed stand I wanted to put out in a particular location, and I was just so busy through the summer and stuff, I didn't end up getting it out. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to get it out right now and hunt it right away before things really start to heat up. I got some friends and family coming in. They'll be hunting with me too over the next few weeks, so I want to make sure we got all our stands out ready to go. This is the last stand I wanted to get out. We'll be doing some mobile hunting, saddle hunting, public land, private land. I've been out a half dozen times, so we're gonna get this. I'm gonna hike in and put it in this big old
Muddy Boss XL. I love these stands, but a little heavy, but we're gonna just slowly take our time and get in there, get it up, and then hunt it. So that's the plan. So let's go.
Right behind me, I didn't even see it. But yeah, that's about mid-high, mid-thigh. That one's a little higher. There's some good historical old rubs. So I mean, this is a traditional rut funnel right here and up through here. So we really want to be within 30 yards of this. All right, guys. I'm all set here. I got my stand up in this big maple. I feel good about the spot. The stand's a little crazy because this side is like really high, right? Because it drops. And then this side is much higher. So it's just kind of makes you a little dizzy if you're looking at it, but get used to it. Took me a while to get situated because the tree had a little bit of a lean that I didn't see, and so I had to adjust the stand a couple times until it felt right. But I was sweating a lot. It's actually pretty warm today. I did put a mock scrape right down there, but any movement through here kind of pinches down right in here and should give me a shot. There's also trails that come across here. Up here, there's an old logging road. There's a trail that comes off and goes up that way. So I might have to shoot through some of these branches. I might try to knock them down once it gets dark and I'm climbing down. One thing I didn't recognize, there's a lot of thick stuff right up in here. It's a lightly used trail coming in right behind me down this way, so it's possible a deer can come in this way too. Anyway, we don't have that much time till dark, maybe an hour and 15 minutes or something, but we're just gonna relax, see what happens, and then we'll have this stand ready to rock this year. So not expecting to see much, but you never know. So we shall see. So stay tuned. I didn't even bother setting the camcorder up because I made enough noise as it was, and we're not going to be sitting here that long. So, all right, folks. See you later. There was a deer coming in. It was about 60 yards out. I was messing with my harness, and it made a little bit of noise on the bark, and then I saw the deer kind of trotting away. It wasn't totally spooked, like it didn't turn and run hard, but it turned around on the trail and started trotting away. I'm not sure what it was. I only saw the back half of the body.
All right, guys, I just got back to the cabin. I was pinned down in the dark for a while. I had this big doe come in. That's when I turned on the GoPro, but I didn't have the camcorder, and she was 20 yards, big mature doe. Came into my scrape, sniffed it. You could tell she's a little nervous, but she never spooked. In fact, she hung out there, I don't know, over 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, till it got completely dark. And then she slowly worked away. And then I was getting ready to climb down, and another deer was coming straight in at me. I could hear it, couldn't see anything. So I just waited, and then I left. So I ended up seeing 4 different deer today, or hearing. I saw 3 does. I saw a deer that I didn't know what it was. Then the one came in at dark, I didn't know what it was. So we had a lot of activity. But anyway, we'll be out again in the morning. Things are starting to heat up.
Alright guys, we're back in the stand. Sunday, October 26th. Temperatures have really started to drop. It's in the upper 30s this morning. The sun's just starting to come up. We got a northeast wind. Alright guys, it's going on noon. No activity this morning. So, head back in for a few hours and then get back out. Stand the Deep Ridge 2.0 stand, and it's the stand that I sat in. This is the stand I killed my 8-point in Ohio last year. So basically what we got going on here, I'm going to show you. So over here we got a point that goes down behind me. This drops down into a big ditch. A lot of thickets behind me. And down over there, the deer definitely bed there. And they also bed up on that hillside going up to that ridge over there. And then over here, this is the other side of the point right here. And there's a bench down there. They love to travel that bench. And they tend to come up and creep up and pop out at this corner, and this is the corner of the field right here. So you got this field corner here, and then you got this standing corn. There's about 5 acres of corn here. They haven't harvested yet, which I'm surprised. It didn't do well because of the drought, and the deer have been annihilating it. But still standing, end of October, so